Hello, this is Mr. Rasmussen with Algebra 1, Lesson 107. In this lesson, we look at if we're given a slope and we want to find if we're given an equation and a line, if we want to find another line that is parallel to it, what the equation for that line would be. So first of all, we start out with looking at, we've got this y equals 2x minus 1. If we were to graph that, here's our negative 1 as our intercept right here, with a slope of a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So run of 1, rise of 2, run of 1, rise of 2. There we go. And so we've graphed that line here. And then we're illustrating, if we have this point, which is negative 2 on the x and 3 on the y, okay, if we have that point there, if we have a line that's going to be parallel to this one, then their slopes have to be the same. Okay, so you'd have a run of 1 and a rise of 2. Run of 1, rise of 2. Okay, if we want two lines to be parallel with each other, their slopes have to be the same exact slope. Otherwise, if they're different, they're eventually going to cross somewhere in the graph. Okay, so based on that principle there, come over to our first example, and they give us an equation here, and then they ask us, what is the equation for a line that goes through this point but is parallel to this one? So all that means, as soon as you see this word parallel, all that means is the slope for this equation is going to be the same slope in this equation. Okay, so let's rearrange this to find our slope because it's not in slope-intercept form. Let's move our x value over. So move that over. So 3y is equal to negative 4x plus 7. Okay, and then divide everything by 3. So y is equal to negative 4/3 plus x plus 7 over 3. Okay, so my slope is negative 4 over 3. There's my slope. Not my answer, but my slope. Okay, then similar to lesson 106, now we're going to take our slope, put it into the equation, and simply solve for our intercept, just like the previous lesson. Okay, so my y value is negative 3 equals my slope, negative 4 over 3, my x value, negative 1, and then plus b. The only difference is that you only have one set of coordinates. You don't have two to pick from, so you just put that one in. Okay, so this one here, 1 times that's not going to change the value, but negative times negative makes it a positive, so 4/3 plus b here. Then I'm subtract that from both sides, negative 3 minus 4/3 to be able to get b by itself. Okay, common denominator is going to be 3. That's going to change the top to 9. And negative 9 minus 4 gives me a negative 13 over 3 for my intercept. All right, so let's write that out as an answer. I have y equals negative 4/3. There's my slope, x, and then my intercept, negative 13 over 3. Okay, let's look at another one here. Jump to example 2. All right, example 2 is easier because instead of having you rearrange the equation to pull the slope out, they just give it to you. Okay, so in this one here, let's write our equation solve. My y value is 4 equals, right in my slope of negative 3 over 4, right in my x value there, and then plus b and solve for my intercept. So 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to add 9/4 to both sides. Looks like a common denominator of 4, changes the top to 16. So looks like 16 plus 9, which is 25 over 4. Let's write out my answer. Y is equal to my slope of negative 3 over 4, x, and then plus my intercept, which is a positive 25 over 4. And there's my answer for example 2. All right, let's look at example, you can look at example 3 yourself. I'm jumping to example 4. And this one here, you can see my x and y value are quite large. You would not fit this on our graph paper of, 10 squares up and 10 squares down. All right, they give us the slope. So let's write that into our equation. Y is 40 equals negative 50. Oh, this number there. Let's put the slope first. Stick with the form. Slope of negative 1/2 times negative 50, and then plus b. I need to solve for my intercept. So negative times a negative becomes a positive. 1 times 50 is 50. So I get 50 over 2, but I can reduce that to 25. Okay, so then let's subtract 25 from both sides. It looks like I'm left with an intercept of 15. So my answer is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 15. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Very similar to lesson 106. Let's work through the 4 practice problems. Do them yourself and then check your work with my work. Okay, practice problem A. They give it, it's already in slope-intercept form, and so my slope is a negative 3, which is a negative 3 over 1. Let's write that into my equation. So my y is 2 is equal to negative 3 and times my x value, which is negative 1, plus b. I need to solve for my intercept. So negative 3 times a negative 1 is a positive 3. I'm going to subtract a 3 from both sides. To remove it from that side, looks like my intercept is negative 1. So my answer for this one, here, I'm going to flip my page over, is going to be y is equal to negative 3x minus 1. And let me check that with my book here just to make sure I'm on the right track. Okay, that is correct. There's the answer for practice problem A. All right, practice problem B, they haven't given us to a slope-intercept form, so let's rearrange it to find out what our slope is. I'm going to subtract a 3x from both sides, so it gives me 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 5. And then everything gets divided by 2, so it looks like my slope is negative 3 over 2. All right, my y value is negative 3 is equal to negative 3 over 2. My x value is negative 2, and then I got to solve for my intercept. Negative times negative makes it a positive. It looks like it's going to be 6 over 2. That gets reduced to 3. Okay, so subtract a 3 from both sides, and it looks like my intercept is negative 6. Checking that with my book here. All right, let's write out my answer. Yes, y is equal to negative 3 over 2x minus 6, and that is the correct answer. Okay, practice problem C. They just give us the slope, so it makes it easier. We don't have to rearrange anything to find it. So 3 is equal to negative 2 over 5 times my x value. Solve for my intercept. Looks like I get negative 4 over 5. I'm going to add that to both sides to cancel here. So 3 plus 4 over 5. Common denominator is going to be 5. Change the top to 15. Looks like my slope is going to be 19 over 5. So y is equal to negative 2/5 x plus 19 over 5. All right, let's look at the last one here. They give me the slope, so I don't have to do any work for that. 7 equals 1/4 times negative 3 plus my intercept. Multiply these together, I get negative 3/4. I'm going to add that to both sides, so 7 plus 3/4 is equal to my intercept. Common denominator 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 3 looks like 31. So 31 over 4, it's positive. There's my intercept. So right now in my slope-intercept form, y equals 1/4 x plus 31 over 4. All right, hope that goes well for you. Contact me if you need some direction. Have a great day.